In a remote Pacific paradise in the Solomon Islands, a tribe heads out to sea. Following a centuries-old tradition, they're hunting one of the world's most intelligent marine mammals, the dolphin. The yearly pursuit has drawn condemnation from around the world. Yet some say it's a matter of sheer survival.
If they want me to stop killing dolphin, can they bring me a big fishing boat, a big fishing net, so that we can say, okay, stop catching dolphin?
3 years ago, environmental activists stopped dolphin hunting with the offer of money and other incentives. But the agreement ended on bad terms, and the hunters revived their tradition in 2013. Those against the hunt say it's more about greed than culture.
It's no longer the traditional value of the dolphin tooth. It is the cash economy value. That is why there's hundreds of dolphins being slaughtered. There should be a law in place protecting these animals.
But the Prime Minister of this South Pacific nation supports the hunters.
Sustainable harvesting or wildlife harvesting of dolphin in the Solomons cannot be equated to hunting. It is a traditional and cultural practice.
I'm Ambrose. On this edition of 101 East, we go on the dolphin hunt in the Solomon Islands and ask, should it be stopped? Solomon Islanders are saltwater people. They regard the sea as a source of survival and spirituality. With most living in small communities, slow ferries are the only way to reach the hundreds of islands that make up this country. And it's the only way for us to meet with a dolphin hunting tribe. We're heading to a remote village in this far-flung archipelago. There's no airport anywhere near there. That means that we need to take a 10-hour ferry ride east across the Pacific Ocean. It's going to be a long night. The following day, the ferry continues for another 8 hours, dropping off passengers at villages and ports. And finally, we reach our destination. This is Fanalei, perhaps the most infamous village in the country. The Solomon Islands lie more than 1,700 kilometres northeast of Australia. Fanalei is a small islet that lies off Malaita, the biggest and most populous island in the nation. Silas Aru has hunted dolphins here for over 40 years. The hunting season lasts from January to April, when the dolphins migrate near the island shores. I asked Silas how many dolphins they've hunted this season.
We hunt on 2 days and about 600, more than 600 dolphins.
Solomon Island also gonna Fanalei, one at a time.
We're the first film crew to visit this village since they resumed the dolphin hunts last year. We have to tread carefully, as many of the villagers don't want us here.
I've tried to explain to the people that your coming was nothing wrong, but since the issue was a very sensitive, people were suspecting you that you were an activist for another organization or maybe activist for your company.
Silas says dolphin hunting is an ancient custom, a rite of passage passed down the generations. Using a flotilla of fishing canoes, young boys are taught how to catch wild dolphins in the open sea.
We were taught how to identify which species. We only hunt the spinner and the black spotted dolphins. I learned hunting techniques to separate small dolphins from their mothers.
Wooden posts are all that remain of the school where Silas and young village men learnt the art of how to hunt. But like many buildings, it was swept away 5 years ago by high tides and rising sea levels, leaving this community struggling to survive.
We have lost most of our resources. A lot of houses have been washed away by the sea rise. We also lost crops that can grow on the sandy soil, like taro, like pawpaw, like celery cabbage, corn.
So how does that lead to you being more dependent on dolphin hunting?
Because that is the only resource that we've got to meet our needs.
Even before the sea began to rise, the tribe relied on dolphins, using the meat to eat and trade and the teeth as a valuable form of currency. In Fanalei and surrounding villages, 50 dolphin teeth will buy a pig, while a wedding dowry costs 1,000 teeth. The teeth are used to make the special ceremonial necklaces that are offered to brides. Each tooth is worth between 50 cents and $1, depending on the quality and the dolphin species. It's the biggest financial transaction in many islanders' lives. Local spinner dolphins are particularly prized, but yield only 20 teeth, requiring the killing of dozens of the species.
Dolphin teeth are jewellery used as a dowry to buy brides and for the girl's decoration for weddings. And she can use it to decorate the in-laws' house. When you wear it, you feel proud.
It can take women like Sylvester Okosi nearly 2 days to make these necklaces for ceremonies.
These 3 necklaces are the kinds made for a wedding. It's what we make for when you want to buy a bride. But other kinds of jewellery are just made to sell at the market.
To find out more about the dolphin hunt, we rise before dawn, answering the call of the conch with the hunters. The men are Christians and pray for a safe voyage and a successful catch. And then, before first light, the men are gone. They paddle their canoes 10 kilometres out to sea in the early morning hours. When one spots a dolphin pod, he raises a flag to summon the other canoes to surround them.
As soon as hunters see the flag signal, they will try to form the V shape or C shape.
So it's like a net.
It's like, it will become like a net.
And then what happens?
As soon as he knows that the both sides are ready, then he will start striking these 2 stones.
The noise from pounding the stones together under the water drives the dolphin pod into the bay. So they're confused and scared.
Yeah, they're confused and scared and find their way away from the sound of the stones.
It's a method that sounds quite cruel.
Yeah, but it's better than using spear and modern net.
It will take the men 3 hours to push a large pod to shore. Then, with the dolphins trapped in the bay, they're loaded into canoes and taken to the beach for slaughter.
Normally we don't bring the catch when it's about 100 because it is not enough to be shared among the community. We hunt for 3 to 4, 5, 600.
What's the biggest number of dolphins you've been able to bring to shore?
Well, until now, probably 800. 800 plus. That was it's all about 11 years ago.
But not everyone supports this ancient practice. On Gizo Island, some 500 kilometres to the west, we meet Lawrence McKillie. He's the local representative for the Earth Island Institute, an environmental charity that convinced Fanalei and 2 other villages to stop hunting in 2010. In return, they offered cash payments and alternative livelihood projects worth up to $400,000, a fortune in the Solomons, one of the poorest countries in the Pacific.
Since we signed those agreements for a period of 2 years, we managed to do something. They've stopped hunting in 2 years. In a period of 2 years, they stopped hunting. Had no disagreement come into play, within those 2 years, there will be thousands of dolphins being slaughtered.
But the agreement didn't last. After only 2 years, the Institute didn't renew it because they allege the funds were misused. Lawrence McKillie blames a council of Fanalei elders based in the capital, Honiara.
The problem started when the community split up into different factions. The project was designed in a way that assists the people that are really live in the village, and those are the really hunters. But the Fanalei people who are living in the city in Honiara and work in Honiara, decided to dispute about it because they want to have a share of, the project, and that's when the community start fighting each other.
In Honiara, we meet Atkin Whakaia, the head of the council responsible for distributing the cash. The Earth Island Institute accused the association of mishandling the money. Did you?
I don't think we have mishandled money at all. I think that the notion of them saying that the association has corrupted the funds is not I guess it is something that they kind of fabricated to cover the face. The money was handed to certain representatives of the tribes, and if a villager does not or didn't receive his or her portion, it's simply that the tribal representative have not fairly dished out the funds.
Atkins says villagers resumed hunting last year, killing some 1,600 dolphins, because the deal with the environment group had simply ended. He denies it was to extort more money, and instead blames the Earth Island Institute for failing to consult the whole community.
The Earth Island actually dictated what they are interested in giving us. I think it would have been better if they would have come to us and discussed with the community or with the association right here. If they had get things more in a formal and respectful way, we would, the village community and ourselves would have agreed that they can come over and assist us. But now we have vowed that we don't want to have anything with Earth Island or any activists.
It's hard to say who is telling the truth here, but it's clear that neither side is happy, and the Earth Island Institute's conservation efforts have lost a lot of support. 20 minutes boat ride from Fanalei is the village of Walande, which also entered the agreement with the Earth Island Institute. They say they received an initial payment for stopping their annual hunt, but allege the full $140,000 owed to them hasn't come.
The next payment should have come after 6 months from the first payment, but now I don't know what's happened. It's about 3 years now, and we are waiting for the next chance of payment, and no payment so far.
If they don't give you the projects, they're promising you'll hunt again?
Yeah, we're going to hunt again.
Postgraduate in Masters in Development.
The country's Prime Minister, Gordon Darcy Lilo, supports that decision. He says a government conservation survey found none of the hunted dolphin species are endangered.
They have found that we have a very healthy population of dolphin in the Solomons.
And he says hunting is a cultural practice protected by the Constitution.
You've got to understand the dependency and the spiritual attachment that the people have with dolphin. By living on it, they know that it generates intelligence into their own human society as well. People will not understand this, but that is the kind of spiritual attachment that people have developed out of it over centuries.
The Prime Minister says the Earth Island Institute treated the hunters poorly. By using money as an inducement, he claims they divided communities for only short-term results.
I must say to you that it is a bad practice. You know, you come with money to try to induce people to go against, their traditional right or to dispose of their traditional rights. Is the worst form of getting a society to reform.
Is that what they did?
That's exactly what they did. Wildlife harvesting of dolphin is a traditional and cultural practice. It is a source of food. It is a source of the traditional money, which is so important, to the way that our society exists. It has to be respected. But you just don't come and then use money to try to get people out of it.
But the Earth Island Institute say it's the high price of dolphin teeth and not traditional culture that drives men to the sea.
If the Prime Minister in his statement, he said that it is hunting based on culture, that is a total crap. They chased all the dolphins up to the harbor, they slaughtered them. In the next few days, these dolphins' teeth will end up in the shop owners. They will exchange for cash economy. It's basically cash economy. It's basically because of the demand of cash that these hunts are frequent. It escalates the number of times hunting in a year.
Silas Aru admits cash does play an important role.
Well, nowadays, I think the people will be looking at the economic perspective. Because of the changing world, people have not commercialized with the dolphin.
Silas helped broker the deal between Fanalei and the Earth Island Institute. In return for not hunting, he wanted the Fanalei community to be given a boat for tuna fishing to provide an alternative livelihood. But divisions within the community led to them choosing a cash-based agreement instead.
That's what usually happens with money, as a thing. Because the problem is when people heard Earth Island was giving money instead of the material, like boats, people from Fanalei who were residing elsewhere within the Solomon Island were also demanding their share, and that is where the problem is.
But dolphins have been the source of a much more lucrative trade in the Solomon Islands, supplying scores of wild dolphins to marine parks overseas until a ban was reinstated in 2012. Robert Satu made a career in exporting dolphins and says he is the best dolphin catcher in the world. He even claims he can talk to them. He says selling dolphins is a far better alternative to killing them.
Most of our people here, we hunting dolphins, and we just waste them to, cut them and kill them. So it's the best way to, market it in overseas, so that instead of killing them here, put them alive and put it to the aquarium outside of the world.
With growing overseas demand from mainland China, Satu wants to start selling again.
The good dolphins, you look at the eye, the mouth, the teeth, the fin, the body, then you can sell it for, say, from 60 to 100,000 US per dolphin. That's the best dolphin, especially the female.
But keeping highly intelligent ocean roaming mammals in small enclosures doesn't always succeed. we covertly filmed a pen in Honiara, owned by a man who before the ban sold dolphins to China. Lawrence McKillie alleges the dealer had 5 dolphins in this pen, but 2 of them died. Looking at our footage, he is concerned about the remaining 3.
They put these dolphins in makeshift pens that, been there for a while. And they were not properly built for dolphins to be kept in. When you look at the depth of that the pen as well, it really, it's really not suitable for these dolphins to live in. And you can also tell, the behavior of these dolphins in a pen. The way they behave, they get up to the top of the water and bow their heads on, and that really shows that, they are suffering from dehydration and also because of stressful.
Wildlife agencies are also concerned about how dolphins are treated when transported overseas. These photos show 27 dolphins from the Solomon Islands that were destined for a Singaporean marine park. 3 died en route, 2 while they were in this holding pen in Malaysia, which was criticised for having poor water quality, rust and overexposure to loud noise.
You have to go to the feelings and the nature of these animals that are being kept in those pens. I mean, this is really absurd. You can't do this. We are telling lies to a lot of people, especially to a lot of children, because this is end up for shows. These people, they went there to see this animal performing, they have to pay money. And this money goes to these people who organizes all these things, and these are the very cruel people that they make money out of the ignorance of people.
Robert Satu says he treats the dolphins he captures like his children, comparing the pens to putting a baby in a cot. But he admits the conditions overseas are far superior to his own pens, where he also had 3 dolphins die. Do you think the conditions that the dolphins were being kept in was good?
Those places are 100% good, and ours here is a bit small, too small for us to keep the dolphin.
So you were quite happy with the conditions that you saw there?
Well, I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy to catch them here and bring them to their park.
Fanalei villagers have also tried their hand at trading dolphins. Silas says in 2002 they sent 12 captured dolphins to a trader in Dubai. But the dolphins died shortly after they arrived.
I speak personally. I think the capturing of dolphins and sold them to the aquariums, and I think it's not a good idea.
It's worse than hunting?
I think it's worse than hunting. Because dolphins, they lose their natural habitat. They don't live the way. They were taught now to do things not of their own. That's somebody changing the lifestyles of the dolphins. I see that's a cruel practice.
Silas shows me a dolphin graveyard in a nearby mangrove where they leave tails, head and fins from carcasses. Cartilage still hangs off roots and spines lie in the water from a recent hunt. Silas admits at times the number of dolphins they hunt is excessive, describing the hunt as a mass killing.
Well, I probably term it as mass killing because killing dolphins for about 800 a day and killed again next day, 300. We kill more than we can manage to control, like the meat and the meat sometimes. It's just too much, we would just dump them away. I think it needs to be controlled. We could be guided by other animal organizations. They could help us in terms of conservation and preserving.
Because you think sometimes it goes a little bit too far?
Exactly, I think so.
The government is planning to restrict the number of dolphins killed in the yearly hunting season through a strict quota system. But critics claim that rampant corruption in this South Pacific nation would prevent such a system from working. In the meantime, the ancient practice of harvesting wild dolphins in the Solomon Islands looks set to continue.